am Dr. Carolyn Edwards, and this is Get Your Life. Today's show is so amazing because we have an award-winning dietitian. But before I get into that, let me just read this because it's kind of long. So the truth is, if you don't fix what's on your plate and what you put in your mouth, you will continue to be tired, overweight, repeating the same cycles in your body. And I did that in your mind and in your life. But today we have award-winning nutritionist, consultant, David Arguez, right? Tell me how to say it.
Arguez.
Arguez. I got to get with my Spanish. David Arguez. And we will learn what eating right looks like in real life, because this is your life. The silent habits destroying your health and your confidence to help you learn sustainable habits to live your best life now. So thank you, David Arguez. Welcome to Get Your Life.
Thank you so much for having me, Carolyn, and for the opportunity to share our work that we're doing in the community. Couldn't have said it any better. We have to take control of the implementation portion of our nutrition.
That's right.
We have to take control of the execution and apply the frameworks that we know that will get us to the end milestone that we want to achieve, and come to terms with the fact that there are no overnight solutions. So instead of sharing tips, instead of sharing scattered information, since we know that there's no shortage of information out there on the internet.
That's right.
We're going to be discussing structured frameworks that are going to help people achieve their milestones, specifically with body composition education. So I know you've recently gone through a health transformation yourself, and I admire how open you are about it, and how you want to inspire other people to take action. The difference between your show and what we're going to discuss today, and perhaps other shows, is that other shows are more motivational. They don't share as many next steps as we will today. So that's what I'm looking forward to the most, is the outcomes after the show that these individuals will achieve.
Right. And the other thing is, like you said, it's so much information. Oh my gosh, it's information overload. The other thing that I feel, people are selling a product, or they're selling a dream. And I always say, you didn't get to where you are overnight. So you have to know the process to become whoever you want to be, and whatever the body composition or the weight is not going to happen overnight. So it's going to take a little time. So tell our audience, how did you start in the nutrition field first, and then you can tell us how you started with the Nourishment Resource Center.
So back in 2017, I used to work at an acupuncture medical office adjacent to the Kendall Regional Medical Center, which is now the HCA Medical Center. And I would design the intake forms, design the nutritional protocols under the oversight of a doctor of Oriental medicine. But I noticed that I was a little bit limited in terms of how deep we could go regarding the oversight, regarding just being there with the person through every step of the way. And that's why the Nourishment Resource Center is now focused on household food logistics management, because meal plans are not working as well anymore with everything that we're dealing with in 2026. People have families, people have social events, particularly individuals who are business owners. They have to worry about their employees. They have to worry about so many different things that are on their plate, their operations. They don't have time to make these decisions on their own. So they delegate those decisions to us. And we do offer other services, such as the restaurant food cost and compliance consulting that you mentioned. But what I'm most passionate about is the individuals, because the restaurants are they benefit consumers
Right.
because of the nutrition transparency that they achieve through the FDA menu labeling rule, and everything else that we do. They sign up with us because of the savings, right?
Right.
That's what they care about most, and that's what they value most. But they also strengthen credibility with their consumers,
Right.
which is also very important to us to help position those restaurants as authorities, specifically in amongst the nutritional niche, people who care about eating the right way and following these structured frameworks that we're gonna do a deep dive on.
The funny thing, I'll tell my audience, I've had a lot of jobs. I've done a lot of things in my life. And it's so funny. One of my internships when I was younger was with the FDA. And I did food labeling.
I didn't know that.
I did that. So I'm like, wow, look at this. I still have more information. You always say I have a lot of information. I do. We used to take the box food, look at the nutritional labels, and then we would input the data into, that was before all these scanning codes and QR code. People actually input the data, and we did that. And we got to eat the food afterwards, but we did that. So that's important to me too. I wish we read them or maybe not that we don't read them, but maybe we don't understand them, like how they really affect our lives. So one thing I want to say to the audience is I agree, your passion is for people and transforming people. And I just feel like in our society, we are bombarded with messages that just say we not measuring up. I'm too fat. My body doesn't look right. I need a pill. I need a shot. I need a patch. And now the celebrities are promoting that. And so I feel like we need help, but we need the right help, somebody that cares about us. So what do you think that most of us are getting wrong? If you had to just pick a regular day-to-day person, what are we not doing or missing?
So they're prioritizing individual foods and individual diets versus learning what their nutrient benchmarks should be.
Okay.
How much protein we should be getting, how many carbohydrates, how many grams of fats.
Right.
And protein is just scratching the surface.
Right.
Because there are also nutrient thresholds. I've observed in our practice that when we overdo the protein, that could actually overcomplicate things for our kidneys.
I did not know that.
Yes. And our kidney biomarkers are affected by this.
Okay.
We don't handle anything on the clinical side or on the medical side. That's done by the members' providers.
Okay.
But what we do handle is the education and the implementation of these frameworks, letting them know this is what your potassium limit is.
Right. Like, who knew that?
Yeah. This is an information that is commonly available. And it takes a long time to explain unless you've been doing this for 9 years like we have. And we've learned how to condense all the information into this 30-minute interview that we're doing together.
That's what I appreciate. I will say again, that is what I appreciate because the average person does not understand all of that. All I see is get protein bars, protein shakes. Whatever it is protein. But nobody ever tells you if you have too much protein or they're pushing vitamins and supplements, like I saw a commercial for magnesium, but nobody tells you if you overload on magnesium and you miss the calcium, that you can mess your organs up. Nobody says that.
Right. And specifically for magnesium and calcium, the ratio is 2 to 1, right? So for every 2 grams of magnesium that we consume, we should consume 1 of calcium. And nutrition is about nutrient distribution.
Okay.
Nutrition isn't an eat this, not that kind of a framework.
That's what they tell us.
Yes. So specifically and we're jumping from topic to topic because there's a lot to cover.
There's so much to cover.
Omega-3 and 6. Seed oils are a hot topic right now.
Yes, they are.
We're being told to avoid seed oils. People are avoiding seed oils like the Black Plague. But what matters more than avoiding seed oils are omega-3 to 6 ratios.
Okay.
There aren't too many nutrition educators discussing omega-6 and the inflammatory effects that it has on the body.
Right.
We know that inflammation is the root cause of all disease. That's common knowledge.
That's right.
So when it comes to omega-6, when it comes to omega-3, the government has made some advances specifically with the USDA Food Data Central database to make this information accessible using a credible database, so people could actually look up if they're curious,
Right.
how much omega-3 does salmon actually have?
Exactly.
Instead of relying on an influencer's post, they could go to the USDA Food Data Central database, and all the information is lab verified.
Right.
That's been published on that website. So knowing where to source our nutrition information is extremely important. And frankly, most people just don't take the time to look into the numbers. So they'd much rather have nutrition practitioners like us look into the numbers for them, assess their specific situations, and then put together meal plans. We call them master menus based on what their nutrient benchmarks and thresholds are. So that's an option, is to delegate their nutrition to nourishment practitioner, to nutrition practitioner. But we should actually take the initiative to go on this website, and the foods that we enjoy eating, the foods that we're curious about, we could look into the different nutritional contents of the different nutrients. And going back to the omega-3 and 6, right? Omega-6 is present in many nuts and seeds, other than macadamia nuts, where if you look into the way that they're harvested, they take 5 to 8 years to fully grow and be store ready. So that also makes us appreciate them a lot more.
Yeah. And they used to be really expensive, so we didn't eat them as much. We didn't get them as much. But I like what you said about the nutritional consultants. I find, and this is sad, I'm talking to the health industry, don't block me, but I wanted to do better with my health when I told you I was having all these inflammatory issues, and I was told that I could not see a dietitian unless I already had a diagnosed disease, high blood pressure, high blood sugar, and I didn't have any of that. Like, my body was showing something, but because it wasn't the top 3 or something like that, you don't have cancer, you don't have sugar, you don't have high blood pressure. So I'm telling the audience to find people like you, because don't give up. So I say don't give up. And I think we need to change that, because education, knowledge is power.
Correct. And knowing how to apply that education is very important.
Yes.
And going back to your health transformation, Dr. Carolyn, it's been very impressive, particularly right after the initial workshop that I did for
so
your
sad.
church. No, but we have to come to the realization that we are making some mistakes regarding our food, and that's completely fine, because instead of looking at food from an emotional standpoint, I understand that it's a big part of our cultures, and it's a big part of our lives and our family traditions.
Yes.
But when we look at food and we evaluate these frameworks closely, and we're able to stay within our nutrient parameters while coming up with different recipes and different ways to assemble these meals that we enjoy, just using a simple framework for ingredient swap. So going back to the blood sugar and going back to the hypertension and cholesterol, the combination of those 3 conditions is called metabolic syndrome. And it's very common, particularly in individuals with suboptimal body compositions, which is why I'm glad that you've come so far since we met initially, because we need you to be healthy with the work that you're doing in the community.
Of course.
We need you to be around for at least the next 40, 50 years.
Exactly. Yeah. And so, Get Your Life needs to be around too.
Yeah. This is just a basic educational sheet explaining what metabolic syndrome is. It's extremely common. I don't hear too many practitioners talking about it.
Right.
So that's why I brought this here for you to look at. And also, these are the other health conditions that are associated with a suboptimal body composition. And when we discuss body composition, what body composition is the ratio of muscle to fat to mineral to water that is in the body. Right. So we're not speaking about body composition from a vanity standpoint.
Right.
Like
That's
how
totally different.
Totally different.
Yeah, it's different.
It's this is from a health standpoint.
Right.
And we hear a lot about longevity, which unfortunately has become a marketing buzzword because it's not regulated. One of the ways that we can expand our lifespan that studies prove that does work is improving our body compositions, particularly with the reduction of our visceral fat. So with this kind of a framework, the framework that we implement in our members' lives is called the macrointelligent nourishment system. It has several applications, right? So we use this framework for the implementation of nutrition facts for restaurants. We do everything according to the guidelines provided in the FDA menu labeling rule. Another application is workplace wellness. But for individuals, for families, this is very important for them to be aware of, particularly how many calories they should be consuming, because calories are our friend, and you are very aware of that.
And a lot of things I didn't know. Okay, so audience, we're in South Florida, and when it gets hot in this watermelon season, you think that is the best treat. It's not a sweet, a cookie, a cake, but OMG, who knew all the sugar that was in watermelon? You can make watermelon pops, you can make watermelon juice, people have watermelon cake, and I'm thinking, oh, this is something healthy. But then when I looked at the amount of sugar, and I remember another person told me as a snack, eat popcorn, and I'll get those big bags of Skinny Pop, but you told me I could only have a little bit of popcorn based on my health and my body. And so there is not a one size fit all. And I would recommend anybody that has a chance to talk to a nutritional specialist about the metabolic syndrome. I never heard of that. I never heard about the body composition with the water. And all people talk about is fat and lose weight. And so if they look at you and they feel as though you're overweight, they are pushing medication.
Correct.
So okay. And then I got a question out of this. How can I told you on the phone, I feel like we get certain things wrong too, even if in our calorie counting. Number one, we don't count all the extra stuff we eat. We talked about when we go to those stores and they have the samples. Even when, let's say you're doing one of the well-known weight loss things and you have to count your calories. We don't ever count all of those samples. And number two, when we go out, even if we look at the menu and it says the salmon is 500 calories and the broccoli is 50, but we didn't count the butter we put on it. We didn't count the ketchup we put on the fries. We didn't count the mayonnaise we put. So how can we, and this is just everyday life, we're busy. What can we do to make sure we're being honest about what we're putting in our mouths? What can we do?
So that's a great point that you make, is all the nuances
Mm.
that arise when we are tracking our food.
Yes.
And it's dangerous to oversimplify nutrition or to be
Yes.
overconfident regarding our knowledge base regarding nutrition, because I've been doing this for 9 years and I'm still learning
Right.
new frameworks, and I'm still refining our current frameworks every single day, and developing more educational resources
Yeah,
for
we need
our
it.
members. So regarding the nuances with tracking, the mistake that I see a lot of people make is, number one, not measuring with measuring spoons, measuring cups, and food scales. It sounds tedious,
It does.
but if you actually look at how much time it adds to the food preparation process, it's less than 1 minute.
It is.
So when we look at it from a time perspective, okay, how much time am I going to invest in the measuring of my food?
And that's investment in your health and your life.
The ROI is tremendous, Carol.
It is. It is.
Because our whole thing is lose 1 pound per week while saving 1 hour per week. If we're not clear on the steps that we need to follow and the parameters that we should remain within, right? We are investing time into our nutrition and fitness for nothing, right?
And I agree with that. And I think it has to be a mindset shift, because as a woman, I think about all the time we spend on hair and nails and getting our feet done and to make the outer look good. But it's this looking, education, making small changes that will help you live a long, healthy life where you can move and you're not stuck in a chair or stuck in a hospital. So I agree, the return on investment, you say less than a minute, is definitely worth it. So if you had to give somebody one thing, what could they do? You talked about the cups and the measuring and the spoon. What else could we do? Something simple, like it only take a minute, but it just sounds so hard. The spoons, the scale. What is something simple that if somebody wanted to make a change today, what is one thing they could change today to move their health and their eating in the right direction?
Easy. Eat at restaurants where nutrition facts are publicly available.
Okay.
Because some of these mom and pop restaurants are phenomenal.
Yeah.
Taste-wise.
Yes.
But we have no idea what we're putting into our bodies, how many calories we're consuming, how many grams of each nutrient we're consuming. And we live in a day and age, Dr. Carolyn, where the majority of our meals are out on the road. Right. So when it comes to food tracking, when it comes to having an accurate depiction of what we've eaten during the day, definitely eating at particularly restaurant chains, believe it or not, that makes the tracking easier. It makes it more accurate, and it makes body composition outcomes much more predictable. This is what we advise our members to do. But if somebody does want to eat at a mom and pop restaurant, or even many of these restaurant chains don't have their nutrition facts publicly available, which is where we come in and we assist them with this process. But they can simply order the ingredients separately versus ordering them as is.
That's true. That's true. You can order a la carte. Yes.
Yeah. And that makes it much easier to track.
And I would just say too, if it's all sauced up, that's a lot of fat and calories. If you just eat the simple ingredient, like if you get a piece of salmon and then you have broccoli, and even if you have a potato, at least you know you have a potato, a broccoli, and a salmon. But if it's all sauced up or gratin and all that stuff, you don't know how much cheese, how much butter, how much oil. And you can always ask for whatever that is on the side. Can you put that on the side? And that way, you know, you don't just have a big bomb of calories.
A calorie bomb.
Yes. So how would you tell us to rely not so much on willpower? Because we all know at the beginning of the year, we're going to get in shape. And everybody gets this gym membership. And then by the second week, I don't see anybody. And that's kind of how I feel when people say diet. I'm going on a diet. Do you even call it a diet? And then how do we take willpower out of the equation?
This is such a great question because when people first walk into the office, their first concern is, do I have the discipline to be able to sustain this?
Right.
But instead of a diet, the reason why it's a nourishment system is because all the meals are planned out in advance. So people are aware of what their nutritional summaries are for each day prior to even having the meal. And then if they do need to pivot for whatever reason, depending on travel, social, there are workarounds for these kinds of events, and they're very effective. So that's the number one thing, is planning in advance removes the need to have so much willpower or be so disciplined, because we tend to associate body composition outcomes with people who are very disciplined and they put forth a lot of effort. But when you know what you're doing, and when you're able to handle both the math and the logistics, effort becomes irrelevant.
You are absolutely right, because I can even say when you gave swaps. So let's say you want some chocolate, and then you were like, okay, instead of just eating a whole candy bar, get the strawberries and the dark chocolate. And oh my goodness, the dark chocolate was so rich, I didn't need but one. Instead of if I had milk chocolate or something already processed into a candy bar, you can eat the whole candy bar.
Right, because we're mixing a high volume ingredient, which are strawberries, with a low volume ingredient, which is the chocolate.
Right.
And by volume, I mean a lot of calories. So food weight relative to the calories. Right. So 2 cups of strawberries are only 90 calories, whereas 1 chocolate square is significantly more calorie dense.
Oh, yes.
So by combining a low calorie food like strawberries with a higher calorie food like chocolate, it makes it, first of all, it's a very palatable snack, right? Or dessert, or depending on how you want to eat it. And it's honestly not too bad, and it doesn't push you over the threshold.
Good. It was pretty good. And like I said, it was so rich. The processed one is just, I guess, seems like it's more sweet, more sugar, but the chocolate was more satisfying. It was more savory, not as much sweet, and the strawberry was sweet and in season. And I just needed one. I think I made 5 and I ate one. So that was great. So tell me, as we're talking about the clients that come to a nutritionalist, what separates those that succeed from those that don't?
It is the approach.
Okay.
Right. And it's actually, I'm sorry to say it, I'm sorry, guys, but the men tend to fail much more than the women do.
I can't believe that.
Because they tend to feel overwhelmed when they have an upcoming trip, or when they have an upcoming social event, and many of them give up before they even get to that point. So they're afraid to execute. Women, on the other hand, say, hey, I'm up for the challenge. I want to do this.
Right.
I just want to see how it goes.
Right.
And so once they apply the frameworks in terms of pre-selecting their meals at restaurants, going to the grocery store as soon as they land, familiarizing themselves with their food options that are nearby, even during the tours, during the expeditions, they find out what is going to be served. They reach out if they have a wedding. They reach out to the wedding organizers to find out what the menu will be. And there are options everywhere, and they're not as boring as people may think.
Right.
So that's the difference between men and women, and that's why our member base is 80 to 90% women prioritized, because the man has to be very brave, right?
And I think men think about muscles and weights, and
Right.
our mind is just different, the way we think. And if I go to a wedding, I can still have my carrot sticks or cauliflower or broccoli. Like, I can still look for the fruits and the veggies, and even have a little wine if you want a little wine, and not go over. I remember when we first started and you came to the church and you were working with the seniors, and when you said the calorie, like, oh, just 1,500 calories, we're like, 1,500 calories. Dinner is 1,500 calories. What are you talking about? You get the sauce and the fried chicken and the this and that. But it just makes you think differently. When you think about your health or your longevity, and I would say for women, I think we think about our children and the grandkids and stuff.
Correct.
That's a reason why we stick with it too.
Correct. Well, you made a great point regarding mobility. And if we look at what mobility is, it's the ability to climb up and down stairs. It's
Mhm.
the ability to go to
Mhm.
Disney World with the kids and grandkids. It's the ability to be on your feet
That's
if
right.
you receive fulfillment from work and your work requires you to walk and to be
Right.
agile, right? So body composition is directly correlated with mobility.
Right.
And I don't know if I'm getting ahead of myself because I know this is one of your
No, that's
questions,
good. That's good.
but yeah, we have a grandmother that participated in the program a few months ago.
Mhm.
It took her 10 months to lose 53 pounds. When she initially started with us, she was not able to go up and down stairs.
That's
She was not able to walk,
amazing.
and she wasn't really able to participate in her
Right.
grandkids'
Right.
baseball games. Now she goes, she cheers her grandchildren on. I'm still in communication with
Mhm.
her, and she just wished me a happy Easter 2 days ago, and I also wished her a happy Easter. So it's those relationships that we build, and that we really cherish them.
Right. And sometimes that's more important than even us thinking about our own health. We are thinking about the grandkids, like you say, we want to run with
Hmm.
them, we want to have holidays with them. Um, so we talked about, I think we need a whole different show about the restaurants,
Hmm.
because we run out of time. So we need a part two. So I want you to tell people how they can find you. Um, who's your best customer for your program, and what do you have coming up next?
So they can find me simply by sending me a text. I used to gatekeep the program a little bit because
Mhm.
we still do have limited capacity, although
Right.
because of our systems, we have slightly increased it. 786-816-6287.
Okay.
Anybody that wants to book an initial consultation or even meet for a quick coffee,
Right.
I'm more than open to doing that. Also via email, arguez at nourishmentresource.center. I have an impact seminar with Dr. Irma Campos planned. We're going to be discussing executive nutrition and cognition. So today we discussed body composition, we discussed
Mhm.
mobility, we
Right.
discussed cardiovascular health, and a variety of different topics.
Mhm.
Food, the implementation of the macrointelligent nourishment system. We're going to be focusing entirely on executive productivity and
Mm.
output, right? So, where executives are allocating their time in regards to their health that
Oh,
may
I
or
like
may not
that.
be paying off.
Right.
And I have a couple other podcast interviews pending as well, one with AB Wilson and another one with Dennis Coral. So, for anybody that would like to follow us on or follow me personally, since that's
Mhm.
where I'll be posting the updates, Arguez Nourishment is my Instagram handle,
Okay, I'll go.
and I'll keep everyone posted on that platform. My LinkedIn as well, but mainly the Instagram since more people
Okay,
are on
on
Instagram.
Instagram.
Yeah.
And then I just want to say, there are some good things coming up. I can't say yet, but when we make it official, David is going to start something online virtual where you can join in and do it together and get his professionalism and his information about just nourishing your body. And I say not just the body, but that just nourishes your spirit and your soul. So that's coming up, but I'll tell you about that later. So again, I'm Dr. Carolyn Edwards. This is Get Your Life. Don't forget to download the podcast. We are on all podcast platforms. And the replay, I'll put it out on YouTube under Dr. Carolyn Edwards. And I always say, in a world where you can be anything, the best thing you can be is yourself. Until next time.